Prison setting self-standard and etiquette. USP Alcatraz versus Old Scotland Yard. Today is Friday, 20 February 2026, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, ruminate about a prison setting self-standard and etiquette. USP Alcatraz versus Old Scotland Yard. So, Scotland Yard is something I refer to in reference to my Dane, because it's kind of it's like police headquarters, so it's kind of like the active if you have questions, you know, kind of thing. So there's Old Scotland Yard, which is before the modern Scotland Yard, and then USP Alcatraz is a United States Penitentiary Alcatraz, which is so Old Scotland Yard is in Scotland, and USP Alcatraz is in Northern California in the United States of America. And and prison setting here means like the setting of a prison. So there we go. In United States Penitentiary, it's a federal level prison, like really big deal to be in there. Okay, so perhaps the first question should be in this is, am I getting thrown in with a bunch of men? Right? So this is self-standard and etiquette prison setting, and I'm USP Alcatraz was men's only, and Old Scotland Yard here in the sense of my Dane is a men's penitentiary. Now, trans have always been around in a prison setting, so in that sense, you know. Well, perhaps a way of phrasing this is, am I getting thrown in with a bunch of men? What did I leave out about my military escort at the airport in Edinburgh, Scotland in July 2019? Some of you have figured out that perhaps, while the social media part might be true, it might have been military escort, like it was a double layer thing about potentially serving prison time. In Scotland, vying for being a location where I serve prison time. Okay. Right, because that might be something that happens after I get out of prison, the military escort, or well, it happened before. All right. So the lead guy with a gun that looked like a semi-automated sniper rifle, with that military escort, looked like a guy of similar type from 2016 film Suicide Squad, which had a woman in prison in a men's prison. So if real life military escort is an indicator of my conditions, perhaps of a prison sentence, if I were to go to prison, that might be me in a men's penitentiary. In which case, then USP Alcatraz and Old Scotland Yard would both be relevant. So I'm going to address this one. It is I hope that if/as applicable, my Dane might get transferred to the same prison. It'd be nice to have a friendly face in the prison, even if I don't see it. I hope for showers by myself. So this is taking into mind, like, I've actually begun to see more than one prison setting, including like in Scotland, in the United States of America, and in Africa. So I hope for showers by myself, especially if it's a men's penitentiary. That's self-standard and etiquette is not putting anybody at risk, right? I don't want harm to come of me, but I also don't want prisoners to have time added to their sentence. Right? We're all there to clean up, whether we want to be or not. Okay. Talk to people at meal times. I think these are actually both good for etiquette. Men's penitentiaries, I think, learning to not be afraid in that setting. I would say, if I might actually invoke USP Alcatraz here, of talk to people but don't overdo it. I liked Alvin Creepy Carpus, and for for USP Alcatraz. So there's a little bit of don't go overboard. Do be cognizant of I am a woman in a men's prison, if it goes that way. So, another one, pull a Charlie Ingle at physical time, pace, walk, or run instead of baseball, because I am a wimp compared to the men. So being whatever for this one, I would say. Just be cognizant of what space we're given for physical activity, and don't put myself in a position where I could interfere with their happiness of activities because I am actually inferior because I'm a physiological female. I accept my limitations. All right, camera/computer time. Don't hog. Maybe come up with a Dane and I project and or approach if we are in the same prison and can make videos together work. Visitations policy. Only people I accept. My soulmates and late night talk show hosts such as Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers. Since I have spent over 6.00 consecutive years as a full-time stay-at-home daughter with my parents in my 20s and 30s, them requesting even more time from me would be inappropriate. So that's just soulmates and late night talk show hosts such as Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers. And then why would I end up with in a prison with men? So that might be sentence specific, but what's the why? No woman has killed like I did before, during, or after. So while killing in self-defense was clear, lingering concerns about normalizing my behavior to match a social stratum. And they're like, they're the right social stratum. And I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me it was a really serious thing. Even though it was in self-defense, you might want to just normalize your behavior. And we couldn't find a corresponding community outside of prison, so we're suggesting this course. So there we go. A bit of both. Although USP Alcatraz, perhaps a little more leaning towards. As for prison setting, self-standard, and etiquette, USP Alcatraz versus Old Scotland Yard.